Happy fall, y'all. I like to do that, it's just fun. It's very fall-y today. It's 57 degrees and there was a little bit of frost on the pumpkin for some folks here in Maine. And in our region, I think we're getting, it's either this week or next week, it's peak foliage. Get out there, do some peeking, because it is a good year, okay? Which led me to this book, One Day This Tree Will Fall, by Leslie Barnard Booth and illustrated by Stephanie Pfizer Coleman. It is a very profound story, or important, I guess profound, right? It's an important story because it's talking about the life cycle of this magnificent tree. Now this tree that they're going to talk about happens to be in the western part of the Pacific West of our country, like West Coast, but the same thing applies for our trees here. And it just shows us the, what word do I want? The jobs, I don't know, that's not really the word I want, but the jobs, services, maybe that's a better word, the services that trees provide us and animals. Yeah? Okay? So, get ready. Super important book. And we have a nice little craft to go with it. Oh, of course. And see, like, this is one of those giant, giant trees that's like 1,000 years old. Okay, and it says, one day this tree will fall. So here we go. We just got this book. Yes, we did. Look at it. Wounded, worn, twisted, torn. One day, this tree will fall. And this story will end. Won't it? Okay, so you see these trees have been cut right off. But this tree has had a life and a half, and it is definitely on its way down. But the question is, what kind of life does it have once it is on the ground? First, you should know that long, long ago, a tiny seed set sail. Folded inside it was a tiny tree, this tree. Other seeds flew too. Some landed on bare rock or drowned in a stream. Most were simply gobbled up, like our little bird friend right here. Because we couldn't have trees everywhere, we just can't. This tree story might have ended that day. But it didn't. This tree grew and grew like you probably have in your yard. You probably have all kinds of these little baby trees trying to find a way to grow in your yard. Most of the time, the big trees have crowded them out. Despite wind, despite ice, this one really rings true to me. You know, I mean, our trees up here, they do take a winter beating for sure, don't they? Yeah. Despite drought, 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 we've had a hard time. We've had a hard time with some water, drought. And then a spark. Something crackled to life in the dark, something wild, something ravenous, something made entirely of flame. This tree story might have ended that day. So, out west, there have been very ferocious wildfires happening. And imagine what it does to everything in its path. But it didn't. This tree drank deeply, sealed itself, healed itself as well as it could. Meanwhile, the creatures of the forest nibbled, clipped, right, because he's got a piece that he broke off, clawed, the bear's clawing, and humans hauled giants away, but not this one. So remember, these are these gigantic trees. I can't even tell how far up in the sky they go. right? But we have big trees, but out west, really big trees. This tree survived. This tree touched the sky, and by now it was so much more than a plant. It was a place. It was a world of miniature forests, meadows, rivers, seas, of silken death traps and venomous fangs, of bright begging mouths and fluttering wings. This tree flourished. This tree aged. So I'm just going to pause for a minute. So you have, we have big spiders too here in Maine, but we don't have, not deadly to us anyway, I don't believe. But this one is a pretty good sized one that looks like it's got a nest ready to take in many different things to eat. And we have a bird's nest, and we have moths that have probably been caterpillars first on that tree and now morphed into butterflies. So it's a home to many trees. Some of its wounds never closed, some opened, some grew, but no crack or crevice ever went to waste, because this tree continued to be a roost, a nest, a den. So there's a lot, so we've got woodpeckers eating on the tree, right? Eating the insects, nesting in the tree. We have owls nesting in the tree. We've got some rodents nesting in the tree, as well as squirrels. Whew. So it's really a house to many animals. Its last trace of green growth faded. This tree's story may have ended that day, but it didn't, and it won't ever. Yes, one day this tree will fall. They all have to come down at some point. Gravity is the rule. With a crack! Oh boy, don't you know that crack, you people that have trees that have fallen on your properties. Whew, I have felt it myself. That rocks the forest. But even when this tree is just a log, it will still be a place where moss gathers and mushrooms bloom, where rain erodes and mold consumes, where a secret city brims with workers, soldiers, queens, where salamanders guard their eggs and cougars crouch unseen. So we have this, I've seen it in my own woods behind my house. You have lichen growing on the trees, you have these mushrooms growing, then the insects take a hold of the tree, and it becomes this, hiding place for a winter's rest or just for a night's stay. Where winter casts a sleeping spell, it's a little hard to see, but he is a bear inside for their rest for the winter, and then releases it in spring. And so the skunks are coming out, the raccoons are coming out, little chipmunks, little, mushrooms, other critters on and around. Where snakes slither and slime spreads, where airwigs and earthworms whittle and shred, whittle and shred, whittle and shred, a perfect place. Get ready, let's see what they've done with all their whittling and shredding. They've made little pulp out of the tree, right? For the next seed to settle. So what has happened, all this shredding of this wood material has made a place where another tree can sprout and grow. And then that's it. And so it's a beautiful story of renewal, and it's a story about just what a tree does for all of us that live around that tree. Humans, animals, plants. And that's that. So let's go over and see about a fall craft. Okay. Back to the craft table we are, my friends. Yes, always, every week, right as rain, here we are. So I like this little wreath. It makes me smile. Did when I made it, does now when I revisit it. So It is our wreath to thank you to the tree for all its good service that it provides and to beautify our home, or at least refrigerator. So how do you make this colorful little friend? Well, in your packet you will have leaf cutouts that you will color any way you want. So what I was going for, I was kind of trying to put a few different colors, like one side was gold, one side was like orangey red. You do what you want. This is your wreath. So color your leaves the way you think they should be colored. And then in your kit, you'll have this ring. This is the base of your wreath right here. And somebody's probably going to have to help you cut these out because there's lots of curves and twists, but you'll have them. I put down my biggest ones. I put them at what would be 6 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 9 o'clock on a clock. That's another good thing to learn, clock skills. So that's what I did. And then in your kit, you're going to have these smaller, here we go, little rain of leaves. Whoops, one fell. Rain of leaves. Oh well, he's on the floor, he's fine. And you glue those in to fill in all the white spaces. Yeah. Lastly, what I did was I took these colorful little pom-poms and one escaped, and I glued them in just random little spots. In fact, one fell off, just to kind of give it a little bit more texture. That's it. And listen, how about this? Before the leaves are all gone, find a time, get out there, take a look at them. They have a great smell, and they're fun to play in. Okay, see you later.